The Polar Star had been navigating the icy waters of the Arctic for 3 weeks as part of a crucial expedition studying the effects of global warming on the Arctic ice. Captain James Meyering led the crew, and the scientists aboard were diligently collecting data on ice thickness, water temperature, and the health of the local ecosystem. Fatigue was setting in for the team, but everyone understood the mission's importance. They were accustomed to the routine and the cold, but little did they know that the next few hours would turn their expedition into an unforgettable adventure. The calm, icy silence of the Arctic morning was suddenly broken by a shout from the lookout. "Polar bear to starboard." His voice was full of excitement and urgency. The crew rushed to the side of the ship, eager to catch a glimpse of the magnificent creature. What they saw left them speechless. A massive polar bear, swimming alongside the ship, appeared to be chasing them. It was an extraordinary sight. The bear's enormous form sliced through the water with incredible speed and strength. Captain Meyering, both astonished and curious, ordered the ship to slow down, wanting to understand what was happening. As they watched, the bear continued to swim with persistence, occasionally rising to its hind legs, seemingly trying to communicate. It raised one large paw, pointed it in a specific direction, and made strange sounds, adding to the mystery of its behavior. It was clear this wasn't normal behavior for the animal. The crew began debating fiercely. Some believed the bear was simply hungry, chasing the ship for an easy meal. Others, however, speculated that something might be wrong with the animal. Perhaps it was injured, sick, or disoriented. The ship's tension mounted with every passing minute. Chief Engineer Pete even suggested using the ship's siren to frighten the bear away, but Captain Meyering quickly dismissed the idea. Dr. Megan Garth, a biologist with years of experience, observed the bear through her binoculars, her eyes narrowing with concentration. "This isn't aggression," she muttered, her voice filled with wonder. "It looks like the bear is trying to tell us something." Her hands shook slightly from both the cold and the excitement of the moment. Megan's words hung in the air as the crew fell silent. If the bear wasn't acting out of hunger or aggression, what could it be trying to convey? The mystery deepened as the bear's behavior became more deliberate. It continued its unusual actions, always in the same direction, as if guiding them somewhere. Captain Meyering, trusting his team's expertise, decided to follow the bear's lead. He ordered the ship to veer slightly in the direction the bear seemed to be indicating. The crew stood in awe as the huge animal maintained its position alongside the ship, swimming effortlessly in the frigid waters. Dr. Garth suggested that the bear might have sensed something in the water or on the horizon that they couldn't see yet. "This could be a sign," she speculated. "Maybe it's warning us or guiding us." Her voice was filled with an unexpected urgency. The captain ordered the ship to continue its course, cautiously following the bear's path. As the ship moved forward, the icy expanse stretched out ahead of them, but the bear seemed to be guiding them with purpose. Hours passed, and the bear didn't tire. Its persistence and stamina were remarkable. Finally, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting an orange glow across the ice, something unusual appeared in the distance. It was a patch of thick, dense ice that had been hidden from view until now. At the edge of this ice, something shiny reflected the dying light. The crew gasped as they realized what it was. It was a large section of ice that had broken away, revealing the carcass of a beached whale. The bear had been guiding them to the whale, leading them to a vital source of food, perhaps one that the bear itself had discovered. This could explain the bear's earlier actions. It had been trying to alert them to the carcass, possibly to ensure they didn't miss it. The crew quickly realized the significance of the bear's behavior. It wasn't just a random animal sighting. This was nature's way of providing the bear and others in the ecosystem with a vital resource. It was clear that the bear had somehow been aware of the carcass, perhaps because of its natural instincts or because it had encountered it before. Captain Meyering and his team were left in awe. Not only had the bear led them to the whale, but it had also shown them a side of the Arctic's ecosystem that few could have imagined. It was a reminder of the delicate balance of life in such a harsh environment, where every creature played a role in sustaining others. As they surveyed the scene, the crew felt a renewed sense of purpose. This unexpected adventure had turned into a discovery that would change the direction of their research. The mystery of the bear's actions had unfolded into a remarkable story of survival and interconnectedness, a story that would shape their understanding of the Arctic and its challenges in the years to come. Megan was deeply puzzled as she thought back over all her years of studying Arctic wildlife. She had never encountered anything like the behavior they were witnessing now. Captain Meiring, sensing the gravity of the situation, took a deep breath, his hand running through his graying beard as he made a bold decision. "Stop the ship," he ordered. "Lower a small boat for closer observation." Megan immediately volunteered to lead the mission, despite some crew members' concerns. They knew that coming this close to one of the world's most dangerous predators was a risk, but the potential for discovery was too compelling to ignore. The boat, with Megan and two seasoned sailors, Marco and Alan, was lowered into the icy waters. As it pulled away from the ship, the rest of the crew stood frozen, watching in anxious silence. Marco gripped the oars, his knuckles pale from the tension, while Alan constantly checked the safety gear, his nerves mounting with each stroke. As the boat neared the bear, the cold wind bit at their faces, but they remained focused, undeterred by the chill. The sight of the massive predator swimming toward them sent a ripple of unease through the boat, and Marco instinctively reached for the flare gun, prepared to defend the team if necessary. However, Megan raised a hand, stopping him. She had noticed something in the bear's eyes, a look that was not of aggression, but something else, something urgent. The bear swam closer, its powerful strokes sending sprays of icy water over the boat and onto their faces. The tension in the air was palpable as the researchers held their breath. Then, unexpectedly, the bear began making sounds, soft, almost whimpering noises, much different from the expected growl of a predator. The bear pointed its paw in a specific direction, its eyes filled with what seemed like desperation. Megan's heart raced as she leaned forward, trying to understand what the bear was trying to communicate. Her voice was shaky as she whispered, "Its behavior is very unusual. It seems like the bear is asking for help." The words felt surreal as she said them, but the more they observed the bear, the more convinced they became that it wasn't a typical display of animal aggression. The bear showed no signs of hostility. Its movements were purposeful, almost as if it had a clear goal in mind. It dived under the water again, then resurfaced, pointing in the same direction, its actions insistent and repetitive. It was as though the bear was trying to guide them somewhere, showing them something important. Megan, filled with both fear and curiosity, leaned further over the side of the boat to get a better look. Her heart pounded in her chest as she took in the sight of the bear's strange behavior. "This doesn't make sense," she murmured, but her voice was filled with awe. "I think it's trying to tell us something." The more they observed, the more they realized this was not just a curious animal, it was an animal in need of help. The bear's movements had purpose, its eyes constantly scanning the water as though it was searching for something or trying to lead them to it. Megan's mind raced, wondering what the bear might be trying to show them. The boat slowly drifted closer to the bear, and the crew watched in rapt silence. They had never seen anything like this before. The animal's vulnerability, its strange behavior, and the sense of urgency in its actions made them all feel as though they were part of something much bigger than just a routine Arctic research mission. After several moments, the bear dove again, this time disappearing beneath the icy waters for longer than before. Megan and her team waited, unsure what would happen next. When the bear resurfaced, it seemed even more frantic, swimming in circles, continuing to gesture with its paw. Megan's mind raced, piecing together the strange sequence of events. What could it want from them? As the boat continued to follow the bear, Megan began to wonder if something was terribly wrong in the waters around them. Could the bear be trying to warn them of something hidden beneath the surface? Was there a threat nearby? Perhaps a danger the bear was familiar with but they couldn't yet see. Megan called out to Marco and Alan, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and worry. "We need to follow it. There's something here. It's not just the bear. It's trying to show us something important." The urgency in her voice drove her companions to focus even harder on the animal's actions, as the bear seemed to guide them toward an unseen revelation. The boat carefully edged closer, Megan still unsure of what they were about to uncover, but certain that this was no ordinary encounter. Her scientific mind raced with possibilities, but a deeper, more intuitive part of her knew this was a moment of connection, one that transcended the usual bounds of their research. The Arctic was full of secrets, and for the first time, it seemed like one was being offered to them by the most unexpected of guides: a polar bear. After a tense conversation with the captain over the radio, interrupted by static and the crackling of ice, the decision was made to follow the bear. It was a risky move, but something instinctual told the crew they had to take this chance. Captain Meyering, standing firmly on the bridge, gripped the rail, fully aware that this decision could cost them everything. The ship slowly began moving in the direction the bear had pointed, but huge icebergs continuously blocked their path. The captain had to navigate with extreme caution, every impact of ice against the hull sending a troubling echo through the hearts of the crew. Hours passed, and the tension aboard grew, with some crew members openly voicing their dissatisfaction. They thought the whole idea was reckless and dangerous. An argument broke out in the mess hall, raising the possibility of open conflict. Despite the mounting frustration, Captain Meyering and Dr. Garth remained resolute, determined to solve the mystery, even if it meant risking their careers and reputations. As the weather worsened, the sky grew dark with heavy clouds, and the wind began howling like a pack of hungry wolves. The waves grew taller, rocking the ship violently. The equipment on deck creaked ominously, threatening to break loose from its moorings. Captain Meyering's face grew serious and focused. The safety of the ship and its crew weighed heavily on his mind. Meanwhile, the polar bear seemed to sense their doubts and picked up its pace. Its powerful body sliced through the waves with impressive speed, continuously looking back at the ship as if urging them to keep going. Its desperate behavior only deepened the mystery, and Megan couldn't take her eyes off the animal. Despite her scientific training and skepticism, her heart told her they were on the brink of an extraordinary discovery. Just then, a shout came from the radio operator. He dashed onto the deck, his face pale with fear, holding a piece of paper in his hand. He reported that a severe storm was headed their way, and they had only a few hours to either find shelter or escape the danger zone. The news sent a wave of panic throughout the ship, and the crew began to voice their concerns. Captain Meyering found himself torn. Following the bear further meant risking the entire crew and ship, but the animal's behavior made it impossible to ignore. His gaze shifted from the approaching storm clouds to the determined bear swimming alongside the ship, and he felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. Despite the looming storm, something in the bear's desperate actions made him hesitate. At that moment, the lookout's voice crackled through the air, drawing everyone's attention. "Something in the distance," he shouted, his voice trembling with excitement. The crew rushed to the sides of the ship, eager to catch a glimpse. Through the growing fog and swelling waves, they spotted a mysterious shape on the horizon, but its exact form remained unclear. The air was thick with anticipation as everyone held their breath, waiting for a clearer view. The bear, hearing the lookout's shout, responded with a deep roar that seemed to shake the very sky. It swam even faster, its movements now urgent and purposeful. The frantic energy of the bear's behavior confirmed that they were drawing closer to the solution of this strange mystery. Megan felt a shiver of anticipation run down her spine. As the ship drew nearer, the tension on board reached a boiling point. The storm was nearing, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Visibility became increasingly poor, the fog thickening around them as though trying to conceal the truth. As the ship neared the ice field, strange sounds began to fill the air, initially thought to be the wind or ice cracking. But soon, it became clear that they were faint whimpers or cries. The crew's anxiety grew as they focused on searching the foggy ice for the source. The polar bear, now on the ice, paced back and forth, leaving deep paw prints as it seemed to point with its paws. Then ahead, they saw two small, weak cubs trapped in a hollow in the ice. The crew realized the bear wasn't chasing them out of hunger, but was a mother trying to save her cubs. It was a plea for help. Without hesitation, they used the ship's equipment to carefully lift the cubs aboard, with the mother watching closely but not interfering. Once on board, the cubs were examined. Though exhausted and malnourished, they were not seriously hurt. Dr. Garth and the crew quickly stabilized them before setting off to find a safe ice floe. The mother bear followed closely behind. After several hours, they reached a safe patch of ice. The cubs were returned, and the mother bear gratefully joined them before leading her cubs into the wilderness. The crew watched, deeply moved. What began as a routine expedition turned into an unforgettable encounter, reminding them of the profound connection between humans and nature. This experience would stay with them forever.